this more in-depthly, our guest is already with us, and we'll introduce him to you shortly after this short break.
With us.
What's wrong with this guy?
I was giving you a sign that I don't have my...
I know. What's wrong with this man?
This is Kakaki, the African voice. Africa, you see. Africa, you know. Africa, you understand. Africa, you celebrate. On Kakaki, the African voice. Africa, you see. Africa, you know. Africa, you understand.
Alright, thank you very much for still being there with us. We're still looking at the leadership crisis in the People's Democratic Party. We told you earlier, this discussion started on Tuesday. We had some officials, some members, key members of the PDP here with us to look at it from a partisan perspective. But right now we have an independent analyst. He's somebody on the outside there who is also looking at the issues. And we have him joining us here. He is, of course, a former national chairman of a party, talking about the Labour Party. We have here with us, joining us at this time, Chief Dan Nwanyanwu. Good to have you here with us.
Good morning. Morning, viewers.
It's good to have you, Chief Dan. And some people will say, I know you say you're a partyless candidate, so let's just leave it at that. But let's look at the intrigues playing out in the PDP. What really is going on? How do you analyze it?
Well, I am partyless. Not that I said I'm partyless. Since February 2015, official, I have been on my own. I don't belong to any party.
I have never been without...
Oh, very well. In fact, it's better when you watch from outside. It gives you an informed view of how it is, and you take a position that is not biased, unbiased position of issues. Anyway, the issue you called me to speak on. First of all, in political party administration, every political party is guided by rules, which they call their constitution. And in every constitution of a political party, there is nothing that is not there. As per their conduct, the way they relate amongst themselves, and even with other political parties and I like. A political party leadership at the national level is normally elected at the national convention. For the state, it is at the Congress. What that means is, once a person is not elected in the national convention, you can do that only when you want to fill a vacancy. And NET can do that. But the national convention can say no. So whatever thing you have done in the National Executive Council of a party is pending ratification by the national convention. So the national convention is the final authority of the party. Its decisions are final. And it is final to the point of finality. It is not final because it is infallible. It is final because there is no other place to go to. So if the National Convention of a political party decides that we have to shut down the Osun State branch of the party, there is nothing we can do about it. If they decide, okay, we are no longer going to have one national chairman, we may have a co-chairman. There is nothing you can do about it. I'm trying to explain the powers of a national convention. So when you hear political party officers quarreling over whether this thing is done or not done, I start wondering. When this crisis started, I had the privilege of reading the PDP Constitution again. I have also compared it with APC Constitution. I read, of course, Labour Party Constitution. I was part of the making. I have read the Young Democratic Party Constitution. I also read United Progressive Party Constitution. If you look at all these constitutions, they are virtually the same in all material particular. They are saying the same thing. So a convention is summoned, is convened by the National Executive Council. A convention is convened by the National Executive Council of the party.
Yeah.
When that decision has been made, then the national chairman will summon the meeting. There's a difference between convening a meeting and summoning a meeting. You will find that used interchangeably in the constitutions. It is only the National Executive Council or committee of a political party that can summon a convention. No officer of the party has powers to summon a national convention. It is only when the National Executive Council has convened the meeting, of course, a party or the NEC has to operate through the instrumentality of persons. That is now when the national chairman will now summon the meeting. Conversely, no officer of the party, can cancel or suspend the national convention. I'm saying this because I have to explain without getting myself into the arena of conflict, because these are the issues that have been raised and I have been following it.
You're already in the arena of conflict.
No, I'm not. I'm explaining how it works, and I'm not talking from the cattle field. I have sat on this seat for 10 years. Not that it's not a political party you can say it's a fringe party or one of those mushroom parties. It's a party that had government, that had senators, members of the House of Rep. So I'm explaining the workability of political parties vis-a-vis their constitution. So it's not, political parties should not overheat the system. So I had the argument that the convention was more or less, cancelled. No. At that point, what I expected the party to do was to summon an emergency NEC in Port Harcourt.
But was that done?
That wasn't done.
Now, if, like you say, it's a NEC that summons a convention, and at the convention in Port Harcourt, the national chairman, as he then was, I don't know if that's the right appellation I should use, Ali Modu Sharif came out to say it's been cancelled. I don't know, what happens if there's a division in the NEC?
Well,
what happens? Well, who takes a decision on the convention whether to hold or not to hold? I'm talking in the context of Port Harcourt.
You see, I'm talking generally on how this thing works. Once a national convention has been convened by the NEC and is summoned by the instrumentality of the national chairman, and members have moved to the venue of the convention, the only body that can cancel it or shift it is another NEC sitting. And at that point, that NEC will take it back to that house. That, sorry, we have met due to certain exigencies, due to certain reasons, we have to cancel this convention. And then the convention will endorse it. If those facts are not acceptable to the convention will go ahead. You don't quarrel with the national convention of a party. You see, and the problem we're having now is because we have lost party supremacy. We have lost it completely. I have said this several times in one of your programs. I've been in other media houses. Look, I was very young during the Second Republic. I used to sneak out from the bank to peep through the window on proceedings in meetings of political parties. That was one I attended in Ibadan. On the high table, that was of MPN. On the high table, there were just two seats. Alhaji Suleiman Takuma, National Secretary, and Chief Adesa Meredith Augustus Akinloye. I recall when President Shagari wanted to speak, President Shagari raised his hand. They all sat opposite him. President Shagari, Vice President Kwame, Joseph Wires, He wanted to speak, say, no, not you, Mr. President. You? At that point, the party is supreme. It is a party meeting. It is not a government function. So when you look at the functions of the organs of a political party, as per the convention, the NEC, and the National Working Committee, everything will go back. National Working Committee will act on behalf of the NEC. The NEC will be acting on behalf of the National Convention, and everything will come back to National Convention as a report for them to ratify.
Now, the decision taken at the National Convention, like you rightly said, is a National Convention that, is more or less makes a final call.
It is the finality of a political party.
The decision that was taken there, where Sharif was put aside and where a National Caretaker Committee was set up, who took these decisions, and did they have the powers based on the constitution of the PDP to take those decisions?
Okay, I had the argument that I did not preside. By the constitution of the party, the national chairman presides in a convention. There are two conditions that the chairman will not preside. One is when he devolves his power to his deputy. Two is when he's absent. That is found in PDP constitution, it is in APC constitution, it is in Labour Party constitution.
But in this case, two grounds.
Yes.
Was there a basis for that?
No, I'm talking of the constitution of a party. You have asked me a question. I will explain it based on those constitutions. He was not available. He did not devolve his power to the deputy, but he made himself absent.
How do you mean he wasn't available?
No. You see, there are circumstances.
We all saw you in Port Harcourt.
No, excuse me. He was out of the meeting when that decision was reached. Let me give you an example. There were situations I'll be presiding over a meeting in the NEC, and I may be consulting with somebody by the end. Dr. Joseph Akilaja will be going on with the meeting. Decisions may be reached. I can't reverse it when I get back.
So that means you're shaving his head in his absence.
No. You have a choice to remain. I'm talking about national convention. When you get to a national convention, you must humble yourself, because they can do and undo. They are the alpha and omega of a political party.
Let's look at what happened on Monday. Of course, we saw that he went to do a forceful takeover of the Secretariat on Monday and made that press briefing from Wadata House. Now, is there any legal or judicial justification for that act? Because I know that the PDP have come out to call it an act, a brazen act of lawlessness. And what is the role of the police in that? Because I understand there was security that was supposed to stop him from gaining entrance into the building.
Well, you see, it's like what happens in a trade union. It is not easy to start crisis in a political party. ABGA crisis lasted for 8 years, and they were in the Supreme Court 3 times. Until the founder, the man who used his blood to form the party, Chief Chekwa Sokoria, decided to leave it. When he formed the party, for example, all those you saw in ABGA that drove him away were not near the party. Everybody that was somebody in ABGA, Chekwa Sokoria brought him there. Including P2B, including Dim Chukwemeka Odumujoruku. Because when he formed the party, Chief Ojukwu was in APP with Dr. Salaki. But the press and some politicians will claim that Chief Ojukwu formed ABGA. I say, look, give unto him what he is. Because when you start pushing what somebody did not do to him, somebody may question whether actually Ojukwu attended Oxford. Is it Oxford or Cambridge? Oxford. He did not form ABGA. He was in APP with Dr. Olusola Saraki when Chekwa formed it. Now, crisis came up. It lasted 8 years. 3 times in the Supreme Court. If he did not go to form a UPP, probably that crisis will still be on. So it is very dangerous. Now, taking over a party office, I don't know whether it is the office that is the party. It is not the building. It is not Wadata House or APC building or Labour Party office that is the party.
But who occupies the office confers some kind of legitimacy on the person.
No, it doesn't matter. No. For example, Labour Party, I used my office to run Labour Party for 10 years. Immediately I left, they moved to another place. I'm still in my office.
That was
It was my private office.
That was because that was the office available.
They may decide
the party.
They may look.
If there was another alternative of it, but we've known the Wadata House to be the official headquarters.
Let me tell you,
the national secretariat of the PDP.
It is in their interest to, particularly the leadership of the party. If you look at the configuration of the party now, you can see that almost everybody is together. There is just Ali Sharif, who claims to be chairman. Now, his chairmanship was done in the neck. That's why I started earlier, that it is the convention that elects you. If you are elected at the neck of a party, whatever you are doing is temporary. You can call it anything. It's like if you contest for governorship, and even when you score 0 votes, people will be calling you His Excellency. You see, that is the style in Nigeria.
All right, do you think that, when you look at the antiques of Ali Modu Sharif, I mean, people have argued that, his antics are really very peculiar, considering somebody who probably also fought, PDP and also was an APC. Do you think this is a distraction, a diversion, or a division?
You see, I won't blame Sharif. There are very highly experienced people in the PDP. And I will blame the governors of the PDP. I will blame the governors of the PDP. Because of their greed, and they didn't want to spend money, they look for somebody with a deep pocket. Most of them would not like to spend money. And there's no way you can run a political party without you as governor making contribution to that party on a monthly basis. Whether it is APC, whether it's PDP, forget what they're saying. All the political parties in government run the party from the funds of the state. Even this APC, they are making their contributions to the party. And both the individuals, those elected, and the government itself. So they abdicated from their responsibility and wanted somebody with deep pockets that will give them jets to fly all over the place that will do that. They burnt their fingers. They burnt their fingers. You see, in my place, there's a saying, it is very easy to give monkey water to drink. But why the problem is when the monkey has finished drinking the water, who will collect the cup from the monkey? That is this situation.
So can we really blame Sharif at the moment? Because people are still talking that, okay, right now what's dominating the headlines, the reaction of the APC that, PDP is, learning its own lessons as well for sending people mules to go to other parties and run down the structures. There are people who welcomed Sharif, who gave him the opportunity, even when people within the inside, the caucus from the north is, when there were protests about Sharif becoming...
That's the point I was trying to make, which I didn't finish before I interjected. You see, PDP has a rule. I think in all the political parties, in their own case, when you have the presidential candidates, you have the chairman from there. When you have this, to give everybody a sense of belonging. They petitioned it. If they had put their foot down at that point and rectified it, there would be this problem. Whether anybody likes it or not,